I'm Ilse Talata de Jager. Talata means born on Tuesday in one of the local languages in the north of Ghana. And that is where I was born. And that's also where I'm doing my current research. And that is where I met this girl, Talata, also born on a Tuesday in the north of Ghana. Today, I would like to introduce her to you. She lives in Pishigu, a very small village in the north of Ghana. And during the first 2 years of her life, she receives mostly maize porridge, a little bit of breast milk. And because of that, and maybe a few other reasons that were already mentioned, at the age of 2, she was too small for her age. She was stunted, chronically malnourished. And this will have major impacts also on the life of Talata. She will have an increased risk of getting diseases like malaria. She will have a suboptimal intellectual development, so probably she will never be the best student in school, if she will ever finish school, and she will be less economically productive later in her life. And Talata is not the only one. 1 out of 3 children in the north of Ghana are chronically malnourished. And most of these children live in rural farming households. So for these households, farming is the only way to access food and income. And therefore, farming plays an extremely important role on what Talata eats. But the farming in Talata's household is mostly focused on increasing yields, as is still the case for many agriculture development projects as well. So, how can we make sure that the farming in Talata's household delivers the right foods at the right time to Talata? We first need to know what foods are needed. So what foods Talata needs to provide her with the nutrients that she needs. We, at the right side, you can see the research team. We collected information on what the children eat and also in what portion sizes. And we used this information together with a modeling program, which is called OptiFood, to develop a so-called optimized diet. A diet which better meets the nutrients of the young children compared with their current diet. So for Talata, this diet recommends that she receives breast milk every day and also the number of serving sizes of the different food groups and foods as is indicated. And these serving sizes are based on their average portion sizes that they are consuming currently. So this is an optimized diet for Talata. But Talata does not live on her own. She lives with her mother, her father, the second wife of her father, and her brother and sisters. So to know what foods are needed for all of the household members, we also need to, we use the optimized diet that we have for Talata to extend it to an optimized diet for the household. And it looks like this. You see here all the foods that are within this optimized diet for Talata's household in the proportions that they are recommended. So, for example, there's still a significant amount of maize is recommended, well, some guinea corn, some brown local rice, lots of different vegetables, some fortified vegetable oil, small fishes. That's what is needed for the whole of Talata's household. And we also collected information on what foods are produced in Talata's household. So as you can see, it's mostly maize and just a little bit of groundnuts are produced or they grow on their field. And we used some assumptions to also have an idea on what foods are purchased within Talata's household. So because we have now information on what is needed for this optimized diet and we have information on what is available in the household, we can answer 2 important questions. First, are there any food gaps? So, for example, in the case of Talata's household, there's quite an amount of ayoya leaves is needed for the optimized diet, but actually none is produced and they buy only little. So there is a food gap for this food. Second, are there any nutrient gaps? So do the foods that are produced now in the Talata's household, do they cover the nutrients that are needed of all the household members? So what does my research harvest? First, it harvests these local food-based recommendations. These recommendations can be used at household level to improve diets. And actually, we received already several requests from different organizations in Ghana who asked us to share these recommendations with them. And secondly, based on these food and nutrient gaps, my research also harvests entry points in how can we redesign a farming system or an agriculture project in such a way that it does not only improve yield, but also improve diets of the targeted population. And the research that I'm doing at this moment is within an agriculture project, which is called N to Africa, Nitrogen to Africa, and it's focused on legume crops. And my colleagues are very much interested in the results of my current research and how they can use it to improve the current project activities in such a way that they are not only increasing yields, but also improving diets of rural smallholder farmers in the north of Ghana. So I really believe that if we better link agriculture and nutrition, we can contribute to closing these existing food and nutrient gaps in the north of Ghana. So let's improve what Talata eats. Let's improve what all rural Ghanaian children eat. Let's harvest nutrition.